Hello, Tim O'Kelly here, and I'm very excited to bring you this content today. But before I jump right into it, in case you don't know much about me, I started this personal development work in 1988, coming from the restaurant business, not knowing anything about personal development. Actually made fun of it before I ever did it. And I went into this course in 1988 in October and rocked my life. I answered so many questions. I began this journey of personal development, immersed myself in it. And the whole time I'm going through it, I'm like, there's so much. I mean, you can put your goals on a board and put it up on a wall. You can do affirmations. There's so much. We're inundated with it. But during the whole time, and believe me, I have taught those. Of all the stages I've been on in this country, in Canada, I have presented that. I have talked about it. But underneath it all, I'm going, okay, really, what are the essentials? Yeah, those are nice. Why don't affirmations work then? Why don't you put your picture of your house on a board and put up on the wall and it's not coming true? That bothered me. And so what I began to do is to look at what are the essentials? What is the least amount of work that we can do to be successful? Because I truly believe everybody has two things, at least two things going on. One of those is a dream. And maybe that dream is a little bit rough for you. A better lifestyle. Having ideas of having more money. Or just, I think we all visualize something better in our life. So call that a dream, call that goals, call that success, whatever it may be for you. And then I know we've all got challenges. And I do believe that we're here to go through those challenges. And that's what I am really, really about, is empower the dream. Get really, really clear on the dream. Dust that dream off maybe. Get really, really clear on and how to navigate through the challenges to be successful. Because that's what we all want, is to be successful. And I believe we all want it now. And there's no problem with that. So this content right here, I'm really excited to bring to you, and what really I'd call the 3 essential qualities to being successful. Now, I'm really taking this from a study that was done in California. Now, I have to be honest with you, I don't know if it's been studied in any other state, but it was studied in California extensively. And I have to say this, I am in California right now. I have to own this. I'm from the Midwest, though. So if it works in California, in this weird land we live in California, I think it's going to hold true for everywhere. And what they did was they did a really lengthy study on why do some kids do really well in school, why do kids do really well in testing, and some don't. When the idea is that our brain is very exceptional, our brain is smart. You know, it's designed better than any computer that they'll ever design, they say, faster than anything. So then why do kids do even smart kids, not do well in testing? I thought that was interesting because I'm always fascinated at what are some things that we can all do that make us better, and what not long like today. What can I do today to make my relationship better? What can I do today to bring in more money in my life? What can I do today to be happier? So that's what I'm about, is quick tools that we can use. Now, it's not a quick fix, but things that I can start applying right now. So they came out with 3 qualities that is true in school. So then they took a look at, well, does it hold true in any other careers? And what they found is doctors, surgeons specifically, have these 3 qualities. Anything that's got a high pressure to it, high stress to it, they find that these 3 qualities are all big in these people that are doing these things. So that's what I'm bringing to you. And to practice it, you can practice these today and watch the results. You will get results today. So I'm not saying you got to do these today and then be off of them. No, these are things that we can practice. So 3 essential qualities to be more successful. One of them is the ability. Now think about this in testing, okay? This makes perfect sense when I read it. In testing, the kids that have the ability to be calm do better on tests. Now that's only one quality. We've got 2 more coming, so that's not the only one. But the ability to go into a test and be calm. Can you imagine that in surgery? To a surgeon going in, I want my surgeon calm, not stressed out, not nervous, not anxiety. So that ability to be calm, okay? So we could do 5 videos on meditation and all that. And that's not what this part is. This part is really just, what are they? And then if you want to do more videos that I'm going to produce on how to absolutely jump into it, there's other videos out there, but the idea is to practice being calm. So what I want to do is just want to share a couple things that you can do right now to be more calm. And one of them is to notice how you breathe. And I know this sounds so simple that you're going to tell me that breathing can make me more successful. I'm going to say absolutely so. Because most of us breathe from up here. You ask someone, ask a friend, next time you are with a friend or client or whatever, ask them take a deep breath. What you'll see most people do is go from up here. We're not even using the deepest part of our lungs. Most of us, we have a high level of stress and we breathe from up here. If you take a deep breath, and how you know it's a good deep breath is if your belly goes out. So you got to get past your image for a moment. But your belly will go out. Hold on to it, and then push it out with preferably even a sound, right? So it might go, that right there. Do that when you turn off this video. And notice what happens in your brain. Notice the warmth that you'll feel in your brain, and your body already starts to calm. It already starts to relax. So take a notice throughout your day. How are you breathing? And if you find yourself to get a little bit stressed, man, that's one simple thing that you can do. Is just take a very deep breath in, let it out, and then if you want to add one more to it, you're doing good. If you do 3, you might hyperventilate. So get 2 in there, and you'll notice that you're much more calm. Now, obviously, other things that you can do is even when say you are in school and you're walking from this class to this class, you're in business, you're walking from this building to this building, just be mindful of, am I calm or am I all up in my head? And just be aware of it, and then allow yourself to be present. Being present is a great tool to relax. Being even present with looking at the building that you're going into, instead of just moving so quickly through life, just as you're walking, I'm not saying slow down, but just to notice, be present of the building, be present of the concrete, be present of the people walking around. You will automatically start to calm. Now, could you go much further into this? I think people go way too far into this, into very deep meditation for long amounts of period of time, and that's okay. You don't really need to. Just practice breathing, practice being present, practice being calm. Obviously, meditation is a great tool, so if you want to go further into that, there will be a video that I will do on how to actually meditate. Okay, so being calm, number 1. Okay, so number 2, think about this. The people that have the ability to focus. Okay, now, I'm doing these videos. This is my passion. This is my inspiration in my life, is doing these videos, sharing content that really, really works. So I sent a video out the other day, and I got some feedback from somebody. And God bless him, I love feedback, but this guy sent me feedback and goes, you know what? Your videos are too long. You need to make them 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. And then he began to tell me why. And he goes, human beings now have a much shorter attention span. Okay, now I appreciate that feedback, yet just on my end of it, I don't believe that. That human beings, all of a sudden something happened to our brain and we have a shorter attention span. I don't believe that's the case. I believe we have an incredible brain that maybe we might need to use parts of it in a different way. I got that. But all of a sudden, we have a short attention span because of something. I don't believe it. You can sit and read a good book. You can sit and focus on a movie for 2 hours. So I think, though, what is happening is that we are inundated with distractions. I mean, and how cool is your cell phone? I mean, think about it. The things you can do on your cell phone, the things that you can do on your iPad, the things that that we could never do. I remember my first video game. I'm dating myself right now. The first video game I ever played was in DOS. Okay, DOS. Some of you don't even know what DOS is. There was no pictures. There was no windows on the screen. It was words. It was letters. You type letters. So the very first video game I ever played was a story. And it said, you're walking down a hallway. I'm reading this. You're walking down a hallway. You come to the end. Do you turn right? Do you turn left? You punch in an L. You punch in an R. That's a video game that we used to play. That's about how fast our brain worked back then. The very first big video game that came out, you remember this one? Boop. Boop. That was like the big video game, Pong. How slow was that, right? And so now as you look at technology, our brain has to work much faster than it's ever worked before. That is the issue. I got it. You can all of a sudden look up and go, wow, my attention span is a lot shorter. But here's the thing I want to make point of. You can extend it also. You can focus. This whole ADD, everybody now is ADHD. It's not so true. It's really not. We can extend our ability to focus. So if you think about that, a child going into school, someone who can focus on taking an hour test, that's got to be important. Surgery, in there for hours to be able to be focused. Do you see how important that is? Even in our relationships, to be in a relationship, sitting across from your relationship at dinner and being focused. So what we've got to do is not really practice on focus. What we got to do is start watching the distractions, watching the cell phones, watching everything, okay, that we get distracted by, and be aware of all of our distractions. So many distractions, and start eliminating those. Notice when you get into a car and you start driving and you're by yourself, notice if you turn on the radio to be distracted. Now, I do know this music while taking tests is important. That's not what I'm talking about. But just how much we love to be distracted from ourselves. So how to naturally focus? Our brain is naturally focused. Eliminate some of your distractions, and you'll notice you're focusing more. Okay, essential quality number 3, confidence. And I mean, right when you hear that, that makes perfect sense. To be calm, to be focused, and to be confident. Okay, so how do you be confident? You know, there's so many tools out there. That's one of those things that personal development has taken and gone in so many directions of how to be confident. But if you study confidence as much as I have, you'll start to see that there's a lot of ways that can work if you've done the groundwork first. If you start to go to just think positive, you know, there's a lot out there. Just think positive. Think confidence. It doesn't work unless you've done the groundwork. And that's the essentials I'm talking about, is what essentials do we have to do? And then all those other ones that we can stack on top of them, fine. So how does a human being build a feeling? Okay, that's an interesting thought. How does a human being build a confidence, a certainty? Well, you're not going to do it by only thinking it. And that's where a lot of people fail, is they think they have to walk around and think confidence. Think confidence. Yes, go ahead and do it if you want to, but it's really not working for you if you notice it. So how do you build confidence? It takes action. And so what I want to do is just very simply show you the action that it takes to build confidence right now. And it's simply to challenge yourself. Now, I'm not talking about wild, crazy, a challenge. I'm not. It doesn't have to be like that. What I'm talking about is everybody internally has a part of us that says, you're good, you did it, you did great, you don't need to go any further. And that keeps us alive, right? It keeps us safe. Those are programs that every human being has, is to be safe, right? To stay alive. All species have that. So there is going to be this limitation in our own mind. Let me give you an example. You've been on a treadmill, and you're going, and you're really rocking, and then have you ever heard that little voice inside of you say, wow, you did awesome. You're good. You can stop now. Every one of us have had that happen before. You're good, man. You did really awesome. So what challenge is to take one step past that. To go past that internal conversation that says, stay right here. Oh, you see her? She's wonderful. You would love to be in a relationship with her, but you know what? She's not going to go for you. Have you heard that internal conversation before? So the idea is, yes, to hear it, but then just take that one step toward whatever it may be. To even go up and begin talking to her. Not necessarily go out and get married the first thing, but to take that one step further. Okay, have you ever been reading a book, as simple as this, reading a book, and then that part of you goes, wow, you got a lot. You did good. Read one more page. So do you see the point? It's to take the action of going one step beyond what our internal conversation says. You're good. Stay right here. You might be rejected if you do this. Whatever it may be. Stand up in front and speak. Right? I remember in school, man, I wanted to speak, but yet I was so afraid of the judgment. I was so afraid of rejection. I stayed in my chair. And so what this idea is to build up you to go one step past that. And I'll never forget when I did that in speech class. And now, as I think about it, look what I'm doing right now. Scared to death to talk in high school. because we were harsh on each other. And so I didn't want to do it. But inside, I really wanted to do it. And I'll never forget that one time I was sitting in class, and I wanted to get up and speak. But man, that internal conversation was loud. And Mr. Borchard, God bless you, Mr. Borchard, was sitting at his desk, and he looked right at me. And he did this. And I went for it. And I never stopped talking after that. I never stopped. I did speeches, and I don't really know what happened. But what I do know is I was uncomfortable, I was nervous, and I was scared, and I stood up out of my desk and I went for it. How many of you have ever done that with dancing? I don't want to dance. I got rhythm disorder, whatever, and you don't want to dance, but then someone drags you out on the dance floor, and it's horrible at first. You're like, oh, now some of you dance well, and not me. But you get out there, and then you just find some groove, and you start dancing, and you're like, hey, this is good. That's exactly the same thing. Let's take one step further than what that internal part of us says, you did good. That's how you build confidence, and do that every day. You can do that in your morning. You can do that in the afternoon. You can do that many times a day. The more you do that, the more confidence you build. Then what? 3 essential values, qualities. Confidence, focus, right? Confidence, being confident, being able to focus, and being calm. You bring those 3 essentials to any business, any relationship, any career, anything you're taking on, sports, whatever, and watch your results, because that's what all this is about, is how to produce results quickly. All right? Thank you, guys.